man, oh man, like we just saw some awesome guitars.
We did.
But some expensive ones too. And they're not built in the great old US of A anymore.
Not necessarily.
So we've been tracking the prices of guitars, been rising and rising and rising. And new guitars and the overseas guitars have gotten pretty expensive.
They're getting up there.
And then you have the ones that are built in Mexico.
Right.
Now, like, wait a minute, is that overseas? I'm like, no.
I don't remember crossing an ocean the last time I went to Mexico, but
yeah. So we wanted to really sort of talk about like the sort of like the lines of guitars and like the breakdowns and the pricing structures and the value in or without and what you think at the end as well of where guitars are built. So of course you have the ones built in the grand old US of A.
Yes.
Those are your sort of flagships.
Right.
Your most expensive. They're using your best wood, your best metals. You're paying the people more to build them.
Right.
So the cost is built into that you take home. And if that, and you're supporting Americans.
Yeah.
Like, and if that's a thing, if you're buying dollar, you want to do that. Like that's where you can help spend your buying dollar. You're also supporting an American firm if you're buying one of these major companies we usually talk about, like Gibson, Fender, PRS, Taylor. I was going to say Gibson again because I was thinking acoustics. But anyway. But so then let's talk about so where do you go next from the USA build guitars? Let's go to our friends down south. Yeah. And you and I both made a journey there.
We have actually.
We had a great time too.
We had a really good time.
We had unbelievable tacos for like next to nothing, cerveza,
lots of
for next to nothing, and pastries.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting pastries.
No.
But anyway, God, they were good. It was like I had a box. They like how much? It was like $2. $2. I was such a wasting American because I had like a bite of each and then we threw it away. I think, but it was so much fun. Anyway, so we've been down the Taylor Mexican factory. There's the Fender Mexican factory, and then there's also the Gibson and the Martin.
Yes.
Factory. Oh, I'm not the Gibson. I'm sorry. I lied about that. I was just thinking Martin is what I meant to say. So the Taylor one is literally right across the border in Tecate.
Yep.
And it is one of the best factories I've ever seen.
It's awesome. I mean,
it's amazing. The cleanliness of it, the streamlined nature of it is second to none. It's better than some of the U.S. factories I've been to, honestly. I hate to say that.
Because the way it's laid out, it makes more sense than a lot of the places that just have become guitar factories.
And what Jonathan means by that is like the USA factories are like just kind of like factories. Then we grow and we cobble this one together. Right. The Mexican factory for Taylor was like, this is your guitar factory.
It out,
build it, bam.
Yeah.
Like here's your wood, cutting, finishing, cases made over here in this corner. Here's a snack room. The snack room was on point. And just watching those cases get made was like
was amazing.
God, that's the coolest part.
I would staple my hand off.
And how many guitars do you think they make in the Taylor Mexican factory a day? You remember this number?
I don't remember, but I'm going to guess that it's like 500.
600 guitars a day. It can get
off by 100.
Isn't that nuts?
That is. That's
a
like
day.
Guitars.
Like how many people are buying this many guitars? But anyway, the build quality was phenomenal, and we consider that pretty much an extension of the USA factory,
right? Because
the USA production teams are there at least once to twice a week. It's the transport is so easy. Yeah. It's not. It's like an hour drive.
I was going to say 45 minutes, an hour to get there.
It's the same as crossing LA traffic.
Right.
Like if you want to go from Santa Monica to Venice sometimes, which is literally like 5 miles away.
Right.
It's you might as well just go to Mexico. The food's better, the people are nicer. It's everything's great about it. I was like, man, I was talking to my wife.
It was
should
really
move
cool
here.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Minus that weird wall that they've put up there.
Yes.
But we walked across the border too. That was the fun part. We just like parked the car and just walked across and then got a cab. Like go.
Done.
Anyway, so the quality there is kind of it's not a huge disparity.
Right.
As it used to be, and I think prices are sort of reflecting that now.
I think so too.
We've seen, so that's sort of what like launched us in there. We're getting to prices in a minute. And then you have the overseas guitars. Right. Now those are built in the Asian countries and islands over there, anywhere from Korea, China, Singapore, Malaysia. There's all sorts of factories. Now a lot of these factories are not owned by the corporate entity.
Right.
Such as Taylor or Fender. They do not own those factories. And let's say get into the Gretsch lines and the D'Angelicos and some of the other major players. These are sort of factories that you build your guitars for you. They have a
sort of farming it out.
Correct. Yeah. And they have the stamp on it.
Sure.
And it's a different build. The quality has improved dramatically over there too. And like we've gotten to where we know like we watch which country it's from and you know which country's a little bit better. Because if you get a Japanese built guitar, it's as
great.
good or better than a USA
Sure.
built guitar. So most often, you know, it's like a Gretsch Pro is better than a vintage Gretsch.
I would say almost all the time. All the
Sounds
time.
better,
Yeah,
plays
it's
better, the
just-
binding
yeah.
doesn't fall off.
Right.
It's not as cool.
No,
Not nearly as cool.
but it's a better guitar.
We have some of our older guys that will be like, "Oh, I'm not buying anything made in Japan." I'm like, "Well, that's not a good choice. You're driving a Honda, sir." Anyway, continue. But no, but then a lot of those factories that is like, you know, you'll have some of these very similar guitars, like these hollow bodies, are built in the same factories in either Korea or China or
Right.
some of the other Asian countries, and it is just a matter of a different build SKU. It's pretty much the same woods, like the layered, you know, laminate pieces there, and then it's sort of stamped out, sent over here, and then they're sent out to the dealers, and then they're sent to you. Now, there's one company that does a pretty spectacular job with their overseas is PRS.
Yes.
They do a different level. They have it pretty much dialed in. I'll give them that. And they also, their sort of affordable line, their SE line, they inspect every piece in Maryland.
In Maryland, in their main factory, yeah.
We've been there. On our factory tour video, it's funny, like one of the guys, like, everybody notices this, like, why does that guy have a Gibson in the corner? Ha ha, he has a Gibson. I'm like, because it was his own Gibson. He was setting his Gibson up. That's why. That's the mystery. But I thought it was funny, too, because, like, there's a Gibson in the PRS factory. Yay. There's also a room full of Marshall plexis, because Paul loves Marshalls. He likes guitars. It's not like he just plays PRSs. It's
Hard
weird.
to argue, yeah.
And so, anyway, but no, they set up every guitar, make sure it's perfect before it ships out. It's pretty impressive. Now, let's talk about pricing.
Yes.
So, it's gotten expensive.
They're climbing. Prices are getting up there.
So we've seen a bunch of the new Fenders coming out. We just saw it this morning. We can't really talk about them. We still have like the don't talk about it, we smash you. But there's a bunch of great new Fenders coming out. We just released us last night, which was Sunday night, and we were all like on the internet like looking at them. And then we're meeting today talking about them. But there's some Mexican pieces that are expensive. You're in the $1,500 range for a made in Mexico guitar. And we wanted to stack that up against a few pieces.
Yeah.
So it's a made in Mexican, road worn, signature series piece that looks awesome.
It looks amazing. I mean, it really does.
And I was like, man, I was like, oh, that's made in Mexico. It's got a nitro finish on it.
When I walked
Somebody
in
on
and you
pickups?
had it on the screen, I thought it was a custom shop.
I know. I thought it was a custom shop when I first saw it too.
All right.
And I was like, oh, it's not a custom shop because it's just not. It's the price is not possible.
Right.
And then, but I was comping it. Like it's the same price as an American Professional too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's a USA built product. And I was like, well, and I thought about it for a while. I was like, I might buy the Mexican one.
I could be swayed that way
if
too.
I had a It's just I don't care. The signature series part is not what appeals to me. I don't tend to like signature series guitars.
In fact, I would go as far as to say that is a slight negative for me. Personally, I mean, that's just a personal thing. But
I do like the Ed O'Brien one.
features,
I think that one's really cool because it's
cool.
weird. And I think the Clapton ones are great because of that mid-range
mid-boost.
boost is just awesome. And it's Clapton. So it's like, people are like, I hate them. Shut up. Just we're not going down that rabbit hole again. But no, so it's tricky. It's an expensive piece because the starter now for Fenders is their prices are going to be $749 for a Player Series guitar. So that's your entry into a Mexican-built guitar from Fender, which is pretty high. Now PRS has the overseas-built guitars for $499.
Yeah.
That's built in the Asian markets. Those prices will probably be going up a little bit this year as well.
Yeah.
I think. So just expect that. So if you want one, I'd say, and you see one in the store, buy it right now. It's going to go up probably $50, which is, not nothing. That's 10%. It might go up more. I've seen there's been a lot of Fender price increases coming too. That's going to be hefty. So I'm just, buy your guitars now if you want them, or order them now. Like it's coming up in 2 weeks.
would you say that it would be a good thing? And I know I had to make this sort of mental switch. It's hard. You can't think of this as like a Mexican guitar. You have to just look at the features you're getting, things like nitro, pickups you're getting, the fact that it's relict, and just look at it on its merits and its features as a cool guitar, or the price is a little hard to swallow.
I'm a bit of both on that. I have like a foot in both, like because I'm not a kid and I'm older, so like I'm used to like I remember when the USA American Standard was $9.99.
Right. True.
Those days are long gone. I mean, it's not. I mean, you can still get an American Performer for that sort of
11-ish,
1,200. Those prices are going up too. They haven't gone up since they've launched, but I get it. It's like a little bit, not much, but I don't know. I really like the Player Series guitars. I think they're one of my favorite guitars on the market for the money.
Yeah.
Saying that is tough though because they're getting expensive. It keeps but I mean everything's getting more expensive. Right. Obviously, we sound like those old people. When I paid for a movie, it was 25 cents. My dad doesn't say that. It's I don't think he ever paid for the movies. He just snuck in.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, that's what happens.
My dad used to tell me about these crazy stories about getting like a dime and going to buy candy and going to a movie, and I'm like,
well, I used to go when I went to movies in New York with my best friend. We would like buy one ticket and then we'd sneak in.
It's fair.
And we'd stay like for all day. And like I remember seeing like Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers when it came out, a 3-hour movie. I watched it. I went outside to the bathroom, went and peed, and I went right back in and watched it again because I was just so obsessed. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life. 6 hours.
6 hours of Lord of the Rings.
I was by myself on that. That's how cool I am, guys. I mean, what kind of date would go to see Lord of the Rings for 6 hours? Anyway.
That's great.
No, so and then we were talking the PRS, the SC hollow body with piezos and stuff in there. How much was that? $1,500, $1,600. You know,
$1,599. Is it $1,599? Yeah,
it was expensive. Well, let's just talk about if you're paying shipping or something too. You're $1,500 to $1,600 for that guitar, brand new. It's a great guitar.
It is a great guitar.
Great guitar, but that's expensive. It's a lot of money. So we were sort of like, whoa, that's the nicest sort of American standard Fender.
Yeah,
like price, and but it's not a hollow body. Yeah, so again, like there's tiers. Your USA built or your flagship country that's country of origin built, I guess. Right. I'm thinking X-Men, Wolverine Origins. Terrible movie.
It was pretty horrible.
It's terrible. I'm not even gonna go back and watch that one. But no, but it's you have that. Then the Mexican built ones, like I really almost consider that an extension.
At this point.
Because even those the Martin Road series pieces are really good.
They're so good.
Really good. It's like
a triple aught 13.
Well, that's
such a good guitar.
Well, that's the one you battle against. Like, do I get that or do I get the triple aught 15?
15, yeah.
Which is the USA built mahogany, no frills, really plain looking. I'm still getting the 15 because that's cooler. But there's no electronics.
I was gonna say if I was gigging, the 13 might win. It's ready to go. It's
like right there under $1,200. It's getting a tuner, which my favorite part of the tuner is like when we first got those in, we had this guy who was working here. His name's Chandler. I'm just going to shame him right now. He's in Belmont right now trying to do his music. But he thought they were cameras. And I've had multiple people think that actually since. I can't, but it was so, he came at Baxter. When did we start putting cameras in the guitars?
That's such a good Chandler impression.
Baxter. And he said guitars. And he has this Brad Paisley tattoo, and it's really cute. And I'm like, well, Brad does it on all his guitars. And he's like, does it really? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, why do you have another Brad? Every day he'd come to work with like a different Brad Paisley tattoo, and they're like stick pokes. They were terrible. It was like the King of Staten Island, that movie with the funny guy from Staten Island. It's like all these stick pokes all over his body, but like Brad Paisley. It's absurd. So if anybody knows Chandler, he's in Nashville, Tennessee right now. Not saying his last name. Dozier. Sorry, anyway. There you go, kid.
Chandler. Sort of. Mostly.
And just stop getting bad tattoos. Parents are going to kill you one day when they see all those. No, so it's, I don't know. What were we talking about?
Guitars.
I don't even know at this point. I'm just having fun.
Just find good guitars and buy them.
It's tricky. The prices have they've kept rising. The Mexican-built guitars are a whole different level of quality than they used to be. In the Asian market, pieces have really improved too, dramatically. So I think we are, and I've said it before, if you've watched our channel, I think we are in like a second golden age of guitar buying. Because there's no bad starter guitar anymore. If you're buying it from one of the quality brands, everything plays in usually, I've played a few Epiphones with some jonky frets, but
sure.
But most everything is really nice out of the box, and it's easy to just get learned on the guitar. Yeah. It's just you just have to decide where you're going to spend your money and how you want to spend it.
That's it.
And if overseas is an issue with you, there's still a lot of great USA products, but the Mexican stuff's catching up. It's catching up. It's quality and price wise.
Right. Both ways.
It's kind of scary, isn't it? I mean, for people like us that are high fashion from Levi's and Walmart. I think I'm wearing an 100% Levi's outfit right now, besides the Casino Guitars T-shirt on underneath. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up.
I think that's about it. Let us know what you guys think about guitars, where they come from. Does that play a big role, a small role?
Or let us know what you think about Brad Paisley tattoos.
Either way,
If you have a Brad Paisley tattoo, we want to see it. So send it to. And if you have a Brad stamp, that's the new thing. It's like
we
the Brad
definitely
stamps.
want to see that.
Want to see it. Thumbs up.
Click like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you don't miss videos in the future. Thanks for hanging out with us.
God bless you, Chandler.